The year is 1547. Henry VIII, the larger-than-life Tudor king, is dead. His young son, Edward VI, ascends the throne at 9. England faced the uncertainty of a child king. A regency council was formed to rule until Edward came of age. Edward Seymour, Duke of Somerset, quickly assumed a dominant role. Ambitious and a staunch Protestant, Seymour pushed through radical religious reforms. However, his costly wars with Scotland and France proved deeply unpopular. His policies alienated many, setting the stage for turmoil. Under Seymour's guidance, the Church of England underwent a radical transformation. Statues were torn down, stained glass windows smashed, and traditional Latin Mass replaced with English services. The Book of Common Prayer, introduced in 1549, standardized worship and cemented the break from Rome. While these reforms were welcomed by some, particularly those who had embraced Protestant doctrines, they were met with fierce resistance from others. Many ordinary people, deeply attached to their traditional faith, felt alienated by these changes. The suppression of long-held beliefs and practices sparked resentment and unrest, particularly in rural areas where traditional ways of life held sway. The speed and scope of Seymour's reforms, coupled with his failure to address the growing economic hardship, proves his undoing. His rivals within the council, sensing weakness, moved against him. In 1549, Seymour was removed from power and later executed, a stark reminder of the precarious nature of power in Tudor England. Seymour's fall did little to quell the unrest that simmered beneath the surface of English society. The religious changes, while significant, were only one factor contributing to the growing discontent. Economic hardship played an equally, if not more, significant role in fueling the flames of rebellion. Inflation, fueled by the debasement of the coinage under Henry VIII, had eroded the purchasing power of ordinary people. Enclosure, the practice of fencing off common land for private use, further impoverished rural communities. The combination of these factors created a tinderbox of resentment, waiting for a spark. That spark came in the summer of 1549, when Robert Kett, a Norfolk yeoman, led a revolt that quickly spread throughout East Anglia. Initially sparked by local grievances over enclosure, Kett's rebellion soon morphed into a wider protest against the social and economic injustices of the age. The rebels, numbering in the thousands, demanded an end to enclosure, lower rents, and a return to traditional rights and customs. Section 4, The 9 Days, Queen, Lady Jane Grey and Mary's Rise. Edward VI's reign, marked by religious strife and economic turmoil, was tragically cut short. In 1553, the young king lay dying. Fearing his Catholic half-sister Mary, Edward named Lady Jane Grey as his heir. Lady Jane Grey, a devout Protestant, was a pawn in a high-stakes power play. For 9 days she was proclaimed Queen of England. Mary, with popular support, rallied her forces and marched on London. Lady Jane Grey was deposed and imprisoned in the Tower of London. Section 5, Bloody Mary, a reign of terror and Catholic revival. Mary's ascent to the throne in 1553 marked a dramatic shift in the religious and political landscape of England. A devout Catholic, Mary was determined to reverse the Reformation and restore England to the Catholic fold. Her reign, though short-lived, would be etched in history as a period of intense religious persecution. Mary's first act was to repeal the religious laws passed under her brother and father, restoring the Catholic Mass and papal supremacy. She then embarked on a campaign to eradicate Protestantism from England, a campaign that would earn her the infamous epithet Bloody Mary. Hundreds of Protestants, from simple farmers to prominent clergymen, were burned at the stake for their faith. Others fled into exile, seeking refuge in Protestant strongholds in Europe. Mary's brutal persecution of Protestants, while achieving a degree of outward conformity, only served to deepen resentment against her rule and sow the seeds for future religious conflict. Section 6, The Virgin Queen, Elizabeth I and the Elizabethan Era. Mary's death in 1558 brought her half-sister Elizabeth I to the throne. Elizabeth inherited a kingdom divided by religion and turmoil. Her reign, nearly half a century, aimed to navigate these waters towards stability. Elizabeth's religious settlement aimed to heal divisions within the Church of England. She restored the monarchy's supremacy over the Church and adopted moderate Protestant doctrine. Her reign faced many challenges. Catholic plots sought to depose Elizabeth and replace her with Mary, Queen of Scots. The Spanish Armada in 1588 aimed to subjugate England and restore Catholicism. Elizabeth's defeat of the Armada secured her throne and marked a turning point in English history.